Hi everyone, my name is Katja and I'm cat coloring. Welcome to my channel. This is an adult coloring channel where I do color alongs, beginner tutorials, practice tutorials, reviews, unboxing and swatchings, and a lot of other fun stuff. I also give you tips and tricks to layering, blending, shading, and also tips and tricks to where you can buy interesting coloring supplies. Today I'm going to make a review of the Karismacolor color pencils. I launched them in my art haul video some weeks ago. I bought them from Japan. There are many stories going around about these Karismacolors. Are they like the real Karismacolors from old times that Beryl used to make, or what are they? So let's see here. And you can see here they are in a very, very nice box here, but I just have to remove some of this to open it properly. Really nicely wrapped, but I actually think that this is an easier way. We have a little card here. And that was the plastic sheeting. And now you can see that we have two boxes, and we can clearly hear that the coloring pencils are inside. You can also see up here, this must be the first box, it says 72 color. We have a little note here, Karismacolor, and it shows us how to open and close these lids, and it's all in Japanese, so I will actually have to use my little translator app to study this and read what it says. So I will do that later, but for now, whoa, I remove the lid, and here they are, or some of them are here. So you can see here that in this box, it's actually quite a neat little system here. You can see that there is plenty of room, like we can see on this note, for erasers and small sharpeners. You can also have some pencils and rulers and whatever you want here in these little compartments here. And then we have all of these very beautiful colors actually. I just take out a completely random pencil, and you can see that they come as not sharpened. And the entire barrel here is painted or coated with the color of the lead. The lead is nicely, actually quite nicely in the middle. And it says Karismacolor. There's a gold print behind, so dependent on the light, it's hard or easy to read. And it says, yeah, and here it gets tricky, aquamarine and PC 905, and then it says aquamarine. So we do have the PC number like the Prismacolors actually, and aquamarine is this color. Well, I can't wait to see all of the colors and sharpen them. So let's look at the second box. Oh, and here again, a mysterious order of the pencils. We have a pink and a very light blue, I can see, among some purples, and a green, and a jasmine. So the jasmine color is here. So the range is not as big as a Prismacolor we know with 150, but 72 colors, that's also a lot of colors. You can see we have a gold and a silver over here. We have the browns, and then we have this one is the lilac. That will be really interesting to see if this lilac color matches or is close to the lilac color from the Prismacolors. We all remember that the lilac and lavender colors, they are gone. So I'm actually always on the lookout for old colors from the Prismacolor or Beryl range. So I can have some more of the lavender and the lilac, because the new colors in the Prismacolors, was it orchid and amethyst? I've seen swatching videos, and they are not as bright and clear in the color as the old pencils. But you can clearly see here that I will have to do something about the order in which they lie, because this makes no sense for me. Okay, so before we begin swatching these Karismacolors, I have already prepared my color chart here. A little bit of history about these Karismacolor pencils. So, the Eagle Company that was founded in 1856, they launched the Eagle Prismacolors in 1938. So the Prismacolor pencil is the American brand of this pencil, and the Karisma are the European version of the pencil. And in that way, the Prismacolors and the Karismacolors are the same pencil, but with different name, produced in different places. And all of these informations I have gotten from stepbystepart.co.uk. And it's a website that has researched a ton of information about these pencils. So it's actually a very good source to go to if you want to know them. But the Eagle Company that began producing these pencils was bought by Beryl in 1969. And in 1986, the Empire Pencil Corporation of Tennessee acquired the Beryl Company. And later on, they were actually bought by the Newell brand company in 1995. A few years before, the Newell Company had acquired the Sanford Company. And the Empire Beryl Corporation and its production of the Karismacolors and the Prismacolors continued, but the Prismacolor production or manufacturing was moved to the Sanford division in the 1990s when the Newell brand company purchased the Empire Beryl Corporation. So actually the pencils were first made in the UK, but after by Sanford, but after they got the Empire Beryl Corporation, the production moved to the United States. So the Beryl produced the European version of the Prismacolors, these Karismacolors. The only difference between the pencils were that the Karismacolors had a wooden finish and not completely covered with a coating. You can see here, like the normal Prismacolors that we all know and love. The product code and the colors were the exact same between the Karismacolors and the Prismacolors. And you could get the Karismacolors in a box set, 108 colors, but there were actually some more colors. There were actually in total 129 colors produced, and you could buy the rest of the colors in open stock. But the Karismacolors, the original ones, they were discontinued in 2005 because the production costs became very high and the sales declined. And it was also very expensive to import them from the US to Europe. So the prices were way too high and people stopped buying them. So in 2005, these original Karisma coloring pencils they were discontinued. You can find them on eBay. And I have actually been on eBay and seen some of these authentic original Karismacolor pencils, and they came where they are in a lot of sets. I think the largest set was a set with 36 pencils, and it cost 189 British pounds for these 36 pencils, and they were used. So the prices are sky high on eBay if you want to get the original Karismacolor pencils. The original pencils were wax-based. They had a soft lead, just like the Prismacolors, and they also had, most of them, a high light-fast rating. As I said, there were 129 colors, and the price was about £1.75 a pencil. The original set was the 72 colors. So, from the 1990s until 2005, you could buy these. They were known for a great blendability, just like the Prismacolors, and very bold pigments, and also this buttery consistency that we know from the Prismacolors. The Karisma brand didn't just have coloring pencils. They also had watercolor pencils. They had graphite pencils. They had double-ended markers. They had pastels and also acrylic paints. So it wasn't actually just the coloring pencils they were known for. They did all of these other artist supplies as well. So, until 1995, they were produced in the UK. Then the production moved to the United States until January 2005, where the American version, the Prismacolor pencil, had already been manufactured for many years by then. so here we have the swatch chart for the Karismacolors, and as you can see, they are some very nice pigmented colors. So I have here my old swatch charts with the Prismacolor. I'm actually going to make a new one, but this one I just made some years ago when I first got the Prismacolors. And I am actually quite curious. We only have 72 colors here, but one I am very curious about is the lilac. If it matched the Prismacolor. It doesn't quite. It's actually another lilac color. It's a bit more pigmented here. It says Parma Violet and Parma Violet. On the other hand, the Parma Violet is actually quite a good version of it. The question is, these are relatively new, these Karismacolors. So if the pigments were difficult to get a hold of from Prismacolor, and that's why they discontinued the lavender and the lilac. Perhaps it's also impossible for the Japanese company to get the pigments in the original lilac here, but I actually am almost willing to make a bet that this lilac color matches the new Prismacolor replacement for lilac. I think it was amethyst actually. So you can see here the violet, it's the same color here, and we have the dark purple. Just have to find the dark purple here and here, same color. Imperial violet, almost the same color actually, a bit darker here. So we look at some of the yellows. Lemon yellow. That's also a very good match. Perhaps it's easier to see here. And canary yellow. Also a good match. Yellowed orange. I think this has a little more yellow in it and this a bit more orange. Spanish orange. Close match actually. I think they are the same. Sunburst yellow. Here, also a match. Sand, also a match. Yellow ochre and cream. So I actually think that we can conclude here. Carmine red, the same color. Crimson red. It's over here. Crimson Lake. Magenta. Mulberry and process red. And pink. Let's try a couple of the blue colors before we conclude. Cloud blue, cloud blue. Same color. Non-photo blue. True blue. Peacock blue. Light aqua and aquamarine. And jade green here. So I think that this is enough to conclude that the colors are the same as the Prismacolors, except for this lilac. But I will bet you that this lilac actually matches the replacement for the lilac, the new Prismacolor pencil. I think it was amethyst. Okay, so a bit back to the history before we begin testing. So originally the Karismacolors, the European version of the Prismacolors, they didn't have color codes. They had the same colors and color pigments as the Prismacolors, but they didn't have color codes. But from 1995 and onwards until 2005, the color codes were added and they also matched the Prismacolor color codes. There were originally only 72 colors, but then they continued to expand the brand, and in the end there were 129 colors. There were also some limited edition colors. 16 of these colors, limited edition, were discontinued. and only were there for a shorter period of time. And they were the colors Crimson Lake, Sand, Marine Green, Yellow Bise, Light Yellow Green, Beige, Bright Violet, and Bright Blue Violet, and then 8 different shades of gray. So they were there for a short time. They were discontinued. They are extremely rare finds today. So if you have one of those pencils, then you actually sit on a small fortune, because collectors are willing to pay a lot of money to get a hold of these original Karismacolors. Other colors that were discontinued were some of the metallic colors, copper and jade and purple and rose. So these 4 metallic colors actually existed, but were also discontinued. You could buy these Karismacolors, the original ones, in sets of 12 pencils, 24, 36, 72, and then 108. But you could never buy all of the 129 colors in a set. The largest set was the 108 set. So let's begin testing these pencils, and then we will talk about these new Karismacolors. As you can see, I have moved the pencils to a pencil case. I ended up deciding that it was way better to have them in a pencil case instead of this a bit weird box, and it was a bit difficult to get them out of the box, and I don't want to fight with the box each time that I'm going to be using these pencils. So now they are in a very large pencil case, where I will also be putting my Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils. They also lie in a box, and they lay in 4 layers. So if you want to use the black pencil, then you will have to remove all of the layers of pencil to get to the black. And that's also a bit tiresome. So they will also be transferred to a pencil case like this. So this is Twilight Garden by Maria Trolle. And you know that I have a test page here that I always use for new coloring pencils to test them. And I have tested a lot of different pencils here: Arctex, Black Widow Dragon, Castle Art Pastel Tints, and Metallics. And now it's time to test these Karismacolors. And I think that we don't have so many choices left, so I think that we will just take this flower. It's also a very beautiful spring flower. So let's choose some colors, and I think that we will need some green colors. So we don't have any Prussian green, so I think that we will go with some lighter colors like apple green and spring green from these Karismacolors. And they also, you can see PC912 and PC913. They do have the exact same numbers as the Prismacolors. So spring green and apple green it is. And then I actually don't know what color these flowers usually are, but I think that we will take poppy red. That was PC922. And the pale vermilion. So let's try some orangey red colors. And I will start with the apple green actually. And well, they lay down very easily here. And it does feel soft and smooth, that they are not scratchy at all. So I am really enjoying myself with these pencils. They are a complete joy to color with. They are soft, buttery, smooth. There's no scratching at all on these pages, and you can see you can just give it a little layer, and then you can build up the color just as you can with the Prismacolors. So it's really, and it's also a very nice feeling to hold these pencils. They are not as as big as the Polychromos and the Arctex pencils. They are a bit bigger, and sometimes my hand actually cramps a bit from holding them, but these have the exact right size. So let's try to layer, and we have, I don't think that we will need a lot of layering, but let's try to give these 5 flowers the first layer, and I will just color this one with the poppy red. Oh, 6 flowers, and then the pale vermilion. And I don't think that I need to hold this page closer to the camera. You can probably already see that we can see a lot of the white of the paper here. But I will do it anyway. So that was one layer. Now I will take the poppy red and then the pale vermilion, and I will give it a second layer. So if we say that this one is one layer, then I will add a second layer to the rest of these flowers. And you can clearly see that with a second layer, the color really enhances. There's a lot of difference between the first and the second layer. You can clearly see how much color the second layer added to the paper. So we will continue with the third layer. So here 1, 2, and now 3 layers for the rest of the flowers. And you can see a difference between layer 2 and 3 here. We can still see a bit of white of the paper up here especially, but down here it's actually almost completely covered with the orange or pale vermilion. It's more orangey. So 1, 2, 3, and then I will add a 4th layer to the last 3 flowers. And now the white of the paper is almost completely covered. You can see a little bit up here, but not much. So let's give it a 5th layer. Not that I need it down here, because it is actually completely covered here. That was with the 4th layer, it was completely covered. So 1 layer, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. And now it is covered. But you could also just give it 4 layers and then be satisfied with this, because it's very, very little of the white of the paper we can see through it. And you can clearly see the difference between layer 1 and 2 and also 3. So, well, 4 to 5 layers, and then it's actually done in this book. So this paper, you remember, is a bit thick and a bit coarse in it. It's not as smooth as a paper in Johanna Bestford books, for example. So let's try these in another book. So I just wanted to show you the finished drawing. You can see how extremely bright they are in the color pigments here when I finished this little flower here with the Karismacolors. And it's no wonder that you have to layer a lot with these, because the Prismacolors are also, well, they are a soft buttery pencil, so it takes some layering on different sorts of paper with these pencils to get the color right. So in that way, they are exactly like the Prismacolors are in this book. You can see here these drawings I have colored with the Prismacolors, and it took a lot of layering, and I actually didn't do a very good job with the background, I can see here, but it takes a lot of layering here also with the Prismacolors, especially this branch. I think I laid the color down and blended up to 5 or 6 times with this one. So they act in this book the exact same way as the Prismacolors. Well, let's try them on the paper in this book. One of Hannah Carlson's coloring books. This is Seasons, and I could have sworn that I had a page here that I use. Ah, here it is. My test page in this book. I will just remove the paper here. So, as you can see here, this is my new test page. In a lot of my other reviews, I have just colored a bit here and there. But this test page I began when I made the review of the art text pencils. So let's try some new colors for this one. And it's not going to be an intricate coloring. It's just going to be to test these pencils to see how they work on this paper. So perhaps we should color these crystals down here. And crystals, I think, should be some sort of blue and purple colors. So let's try the Parma Violet and the Lilac. And perhaps some non-photo blue. And a darker blue, actually, also. Some ultramarine. And perhaps some cloud blue. So let's see how it works here. So you can see how the color just goes down. I actually had almost no pressure, both when I tested in Twilight Garden and here. I hope you can both see and hear. Hardly any pressure, and the color just lays down so beautifully in this book. And this paper is almost like the paper in Maria Trolle's books. I actually think that this is a bit thicker. It's quite thick, this paper. You can use watercolors on it, and if you are not over eagerly with the water, then it actually won't bleed through the pages in her books. It's a bit thicker, and it's still a bit coarse also, and have this sort of creamy yellowish tone to it. And you can see here with the Parma Violet, it's the same. I'm actually just coloring something on at random. And the Lilac. And I'm just laying down some color, and you can see this is just one layer. I mean, these pencils are an absolute joy to work with in this book. Can see here that they are not the same regarding the paint on the barrel here, or the coating, or whatever you call it. And you can clearly see here, now that I have it, that the name of this was Prismacolor Premier, but I have used a lot of it, Karismacolor, Cloud Blue, and here it says in French, I won't even pronounce it actually. And then the number PC 1023, and here we have the English and the French name and the number, and the French name, the number, and the English name, Cloud Blue. So in that way we have the same information on the pencils. But if you look at interestingly enough, if you look at the color on the lead here, you can see it's a bit lighter here. Well, I will just take the Karismacolor Cloud Blue and add some color. Nice and smooth. And then I will take the Prismacolor actually, just to compare. And you can see that when the color comes out of the lead, it's the same color. There is no difference between the two colors when you color with them. So it doesn't really matter that this is a bit lighter, because it's the same color that comes down on the paper. And that's what matters. So if I just try here, Prisma, it's very soft. Then we have this one, also very soft. Okay, to be really fair, the Prismacolor is a tiny bit softer when you lay it down. You can feel the lead sort of, I would say melting, but it sounds weird, but you can feel how it just sinks into the paper. This also does it, but not quite the same way. So if this is a 100% soft pencil, this is between 90 and 95% soft. So it is really almost the same, and certainly much more soft and buttery than the Arttex pencils that I also did a review of a couple of weeks ago, and also compared them to the Prismacolors, because they have been marketed as the new and cheaper Prismacolors, but they are not the Arttex pencils as soft as a Prismacolor. But this is a really close match when it comes to the softness of the pencil. So it is really soft, these Karismacolors. So I have just laid down some color, but now I would actually also layer here so that we can see it. So this is one layer, and as you can see here, actually quite clearly, you can see a lot of the white of the paper, or some of the white of the paper, I will have to say. So if we concentrate on this crystal, I will lay down some dark color here because I forgot. So let's concentrate on this crystal. So this was one layer. All have had one layer. So let's give this one 2 layers. I think this was the Parma Violet and the Lilac and the Cloud Blue, and here we had the, and I won't, because this was actually, I think this was the Prismacolor, so I won't be using this one. But you can clearly see here that with the second layer, it covers a lot of the white. And not so much down here, but I think that I actually let go of the pressure of the pencil before I reached the bottom, because that's what I'm used to when I'm coloring. So a second layer, you can see some of the white, but compared to this one, where I only gave it 1 layer, you can clearly see a difference here with 2 layers on this paper in this book. So let's give this one also 2 layers. I think this was a lilac, I'm actually not quite sure. And this was, and then, well, let us take 1 layer of the not photo blue and 2 layers. So that was 2 layers. So let's give it 3 layers. So a 3rd layer here. And now it's covered. You can see here it dusts a bit because it's hard for me to lay down any more color now. It's like the paper is filled now with the color. So 2 layers I would actually recommend in Hannah Carlson books with these Karismacolors, because you don't need any more layering here. It covers the paper so nicely. And you can also see that with 1 layer here, if you want to do a coloring with a lot of highlights, and you can just use and I did use a light pressure here. So even a light pressure adds a lot of color to these pages here in this book. So my last test will not be in the usual Magical Jungle book, but in Small Victories, because here we have so many pages with very small drawings that can be colored. So I will actually just choose one of these. I think it will be a butterfly. I'll just pop the paper in. I will actually, no, I think I will take another paper because I am a little bit afraid of my very blue watercolor coloring, that it will rub off on the opposite page. So let's just take a random butterfly, and I will be using the parrot green and also aquamarine, light aqua, and the canary yellow and the lemon yellow. So this Karismacolor set does not have a deco yellow. So and this paper in Small Victories is also quite thick actually. I also think that you could use watercolors here. I haven't used them yet, but I think I will try it sometime. But this paper is smooth. So let's just color the body of this little butterfly or moth. I'm actually not quite sure what it is. And we do it with the parrot green. I think I will also actually remember that this is Karismacolor. I'm just going to write it there, because on this page I think that perhaps I could use it to test my other coloring pencils. I have only used Prismacolor on 1 or 2 drawings and then Polychromas for the rest of it. So it would be nice to know what other coloring pencil brands I have that work in this book. And you can see, well, it lays down beautifully. So I will not do anything more with the body. But here we have 1 layer. And this is what it looks like when you have a normal pressure. So if I just have a light pressure here, this is what it looks like. You can clearly see more of the paper here than here. So normal pressure, it actually covers quite well in this book. A light pressure, you can still see some of the white of the paper. So we have to compare. So I think this will be just the normal pressure. So I will have to color different things on this butterfly with this color. So all of this just gets 1 layer. With a light pressure. Okay, so one layer with a light pressure. You can see here, we can see the white of the paper. As soon as I switch from a light pressure to a normal pressure, then it's almost covered the paper. And also here. So let's see if we, again, with a light hand, add the second layer. So if we take this as the first layer, then here I will add the second layer. And also the second layer here. And let's use this one as the first layer and then lay the second layer here. So the second layer, well, it's almost covered. I don't think that you need a third layer, but just to be sure, let's test it. This was one layer. Okay, so let's add the second layer. Just to see where this brings us. So that was the second layer, as you can see here. And you can still see a bit of the white of the paper. So what happens if we add a third layer? I can clearly see that now the color is beginning to come off here. So it suggests that the paper is actually full and that this third layer isn't actually quite necessary. So one layer, you can see some of the white. I think that many people will prefer just one layer of the Karismacolor in this book, because then you can have some highlights. The second layer really gives it a good coverage, and the third layer is actually not necessary because you can see it gets an almost a bit, well, not waxy look, but almost to a certain degree actually here. So if you want to layer the Karismacolors, this is perhaps not the best paper to layer them on. It's perhaps best to use paper like the one in Maria Trolle's books, because this is just too smooth, so it gets really weird when you add a third layer on this paper. It's really not necessary. So I would say 1 to 2 layers. And if you alternate between a light pressure and a normal pressure, then 1 layer is more than enough, and you can create some great effects here depending on the pressure. So you can have light coverage here with a lot of white shining through, and then a bigger one here in shadowy areas or whatever. The big thing about Karismacolors from Japan is that they are not an exact replica of the vintage Bell Karismacolor pencils that we know from eBay and that was sold in Europe. These are oil-based, and you can see it here on this note that I found inside of the box. I have a translator app on my phone, and if I just place it here, it says oil-based coloring pencils loved by artists all over the world. Oil-based. The vintage barrel Karismacolors, they were wax-based, as I have already explained to you in this video. So these are an entirely different pencil because they are oil-based. They are not a bad pencil at all. I actually quite like these pencils, I have to say, but they are not the same pencil as the Vintage Barrel Karismacolor, simply because it's oil-based. So now that we know this, it actually explains why the colors were so vibrant and the way that you had to layer them in the coloring books and the way that they blend together. Because they don't act actually like a wax-based. They are very, I would have to say, very similar to the Prismacolors that are wax-based, but not entirely. And that is because they are oil-based. So that's a big difference between the Karismacolor pencils here from Japan and the Vintage Barrel. Oil, not wax. But if we take a look at the pencils themselves, now that we know they are oil-based, that's not a bad thing. Because I don't know a lot of oil-based coloring pencils. I have the Faber-Castell Polychromos myself, and I absolutely love them. And I also have the Koh-i-Noor Polycolor 72 set. They are also oil-based, and I have used them in several videos here on my channel. But if I have to compare, these are more soft and buttery and creamy than the Polychromos. I actually think that these could be a better oil-based coloring pencil than the Polychromos. And that's not saying a tiny bit, that's actually saying a lot. Because I know that people all over the world love the Faber-Castell Polychromos. But these are actually better when you use them. Because although they are oil-based, they do remind me a lot of the Prismacolor pencils. They are, like the Prismacolors, soft and creamy and have that buttery feeling when you lay them down. As I said before, if the Prismacolors are 100% buttery and creamy to lay down, these are 90 to 95% the same. And that's also, apart from being oil-based, they actually perform in much the same way as the wax-based Prismacolors do. So I just take a random pencil. This was the Peacock Blue. And this is not something that I recommend you do with your coloring pencils, but you can see that they are actually quite sturdy and robust. The wood is actually of a really good quality here. So I think that they are a good buy, these one, if you want to try a new oil-based pencil. They're easy to sharpen and they don't break as easily as the Prismacolors. And if you have been in the coloring world for quite a while, like I have, then you know that a lot of people complain about the Prismacolors since the production was moved to Mexico, that they are prone to breaking. And I know from my Prismacolor set that the peach beige that I have, it's this small now, and it just keeps breaking when I use it. It breaks when I sharpen it. It breaks when I look at it. It, well, almost breaks, if you know what I mean. It's really annoying. But these sturdy, robust pencils with a good quality of wood and a amazingly high pigmented lead here. And it actually also says here on this instruction that you can use it as some sort of a painting or a paint. So if you apply this to paper and you add some turpentine on a brush, you can actually make it like an oil painting. So why are they called Karismacolor? Why do they use this name? Well, if you saw Sarah Renee Clark's video about the Prismacolors, fake or not, she also mentioned these pencils. She didn't have a lot on them, but she did say that Sanford has the company that has the Prismacolors now and has for many, many years. They had licensed for use in Japan to a third party. And a lot of people then assumed that these Karismacolors were the same as the vintage barrel Karismacolors, because it must be the same recipe. And it has also been mentioned in other videos by other YouTubers that these pencils are a new version of the vintage Karismacolors. It's the same recipe that they used for them. But now that we know that they are oil-based, it's not entirely true. The colors do match the Prismacolors, as I have already shown you, both with the colors themselves and the numbers. And it also says here PC in the number code, like the Prismacolor, but they are oil-based, and that's a huge difference in the manufacturing process compared to the wax-based pencils. So, should you buy them? I don't know. That's up to you. But I can say that if I had to choose between the vintage barrel Karismacolors that are so expensive on eBay, they cost for, I found a 36 pencil set, and you know that they had up to a 108 set. So it's one of the smaller sets. £189 for this set. So if you calculate to American dollars, that's $237.16. But you can see that the vintage barrel Karismacolors are almost double the price of 150 Prismacolors, and it's only for 36 pencils. So I know that if I wanted to try a new coloring pencil that was oil-based, but that performed like the Prismacolors, I would rather invest in this set from Japan. I gave, I think it was about $148, sort of the same price as the Prismacolors, and only for 72 pencils, but that was including shipping, but also no taxes and duties and income taxes and all that to get it to Denmark. I only paid this price and nothing more. So if I had to buy the Prismacolors from America, from the United States, I would have to pay the $150 or so, and then I would also have to pay taxes and duties and all that to get them to Denmark. But I don't have to do this with these pencils from Japan. So I actually think that this is a good buy if you want to try a new oil-based pencil that performs almost like a Prismacolor pencil. Then this is a very good buy. Well, we have reached the end of this review. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and I really hope that you learned a lot about the Karismacolors from Japan and the difference between these pencils and the very expensive vintage Karismacolor pencils that you can buy on eBay. So in my opinion, don't use all your money on these pencils on eBay, but use them instead to buy these if you want some pencils that are an almost exact match for the Prismacolors, except for this 5 to 10% difference in the buttery feel and then the lilac color. Well, I hope that you will like this video, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. You are also more than welcome to share this video with other people that you know that perhaps want to learn something about these Karismacolor pencils, and you are more than welcome to share my other videos with other people that might want to see some coloring tutorials. Please also drop a comment down below. I always answer. So I hope that you will take care of yourself. Have a very nice day. Happy coloring, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.